In this video, I want to give you guys an update on a couple of PlayStation 5 exclusives, most notably Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. We'll take a look at both of those, and we've got the launch date for an upcoming tactical RPG coming to the PS4. Otherside isn't getting a lot of attention, but it's a game that I think looks pretty cool, and we'll go over that in just a little bit. Alright, first up, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. If you've been watching our videos for any length of time, you know that personally speaking, and I do have a bias towards Ratchet & Clank. I grew up with this franchise, and I've played literally every single game, and it's a franchise very near and dear to my heart. I'm super excited for Rift Apart. It's my most anticipated PlayStation 5 exclusive without a doubt. When it came up on screen, I lost my mind, and that pretty much sold me on the PS5. Like, I was gonna buy it anyway. Demon Souls remake, all that good stuff, Miles Morales, that stuff all look cool, but Ratchet & Clank coming back, that is something that is so great for me, especially because Ratchet hasn't seen a brand new, $60 release since like 2009 with Ratchet & Clank: A Crack in Time. We've had like Ratchet & Clank All for One, Ratchet & Clank Into the Nexus, but those have been more so side games. Rift Apart is legitimately the next entry in Ratchet & Clank, and you might have realized in the trailer, oh, Lombaxes are in the game. There was another Lombax, a female Lombax, that was shown in the trailer. There's been other Lombaxes, and we've seen other Lombaxes, but seeing another playable Ratchet character is pretty cool, and yes, the new female Lombax is going to be a playable character. I should say a new Lombax that it's a playable character. That's a big mystery in the game, and don't get it twisted, I know Ratchet & Clank, when you look at the trailer, if you guys have never played Ratchet, you might just see a lot of the flashy gameplay, and yes, the gameplay is very flashy, the weapons are off the wall and very zany. However, Ratchet also has really solid storytelling. Like, go play the Future series and play through Crack in Time, and if you're telling me you didn't enjoy Crack in Time storytelling, I don't really know what to say. They have really solid storytelling in those games. Very lovable characters. You can not go wrong with the duo of Ratchet, Clank, obviously Quark, Nefarious even. I mean, there are just so many great Ratchet characters, and adding more characters to the fray I think is a good thing, and I trust Insomniac in facilitating good character development, and seeing another Lombax that is playable is going to be pretty cool. So there we have it with that. Still holding out hope it's a 2020 title, but honestly, I'm really thinking launch is probably going to be Demon Souls remake, probably Miles Morales, of course, and then maybe like Kenna and maybe the Housemarque new IP. Alright, moving on from that, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, an update from Insomniac Games. A lot of confusing information was going around on whether this was a full-fledged title, whether this was going to be bundled in with Spider-Man as an HD remaster on the PS5. Now it looks like Miles Morales is going to be a standalone game, but it's going to be relatively big. Maybe not a $60 big game, but it will be a big title. And don't worry about you thinking Insomniac has too much on their plate. I've seen that notion been thrown around. Insomniac is deceptively a pretty huge studio. I believe they have two separate studios that create games, so it's not like everybody that's working on Ratchet is working on Spider-Man. They have distinct teams, and they're getting the work done rather efficiently. That's why for Sony to pick up Insomniac as a first-party studio now, that was a pretty major get for them, and definitely a win in their book. Brian Horton, creative director on Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales from Insomniac, noted on the PlayStation blog, "Hi, I'm Brian Horton, creative director at Insomniac Games. Last week, we were so thrilled to introduce you to the beginning of your Marvel Spider-Man journey on PlayStation 5, that being Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. This standalone game lets players experience the rise of Miles Morales as he discovers new powers that set him apart from his mentor, Peter Parker." They constantly go back to that phrasing of the standalone game, so they really seem to be trying to mitigate that confusion that people have, thinking that this might be a bundled-in experience or something like that. The reaction we received last week was nothing short of incredible, but we wanted to take a little bit of extra time to talk about the game and the trailer you saw and point out some things you might have missed. Take a look above the blog. At Insomniac Games, we've loved the character of Miles Morales for a long time. It started years ago when Brian Indahar, creative director of the title, suggested that we should have Miles Morales be a part of the same universe as Peter Parker. We sneakily introduced him at the end of our E3 2017 demo, surprising the audience when they thought the PlayStation briefing was over. As we continued with the Marvel Spider-Man universe, we knew that Miles' origin story as a Spider-Man was something that needed its own game. Miles' multicultural background reflects a more modern, diverse world, and we wanted to give players a new story with new set pieces, fresh villains, and unique quests across Marvel's New York City. This had to be a can't-miss next adventure in the Marvel Spider-Man universe. Let's set the scene for the game a little bit more. We know a lot of you want to know how big the game is. Our team at Insomniac has been working incredibly hard to bring you a fantastic Miles Morales adventure since we concluded development on Marvel's Spider-Man. You'll experience a full story arc with Miles, one that's more akin to a game like Uncharted: The Lost Legacy in terms of overall scope. So there you have it. Now the notion is coming directly from the horse's mouth. It's going to be comparable to Lost Legacy. Now, Lost Legacy was a game that if you played it from a quality standpoint, I wouldn't say the quality was there comparably to Uncharted 4. However, if you want to talk about just length, Uncharted Lost Legacy, comparable to Uncharted 4 in length, was relatively similar. It was a couple hours shorter, but it's not like it was egregiously shorter or anything like that. So that is something to note. Miles Morales is an important, heartfelt, emotional, and essential experience to expanding the Spider-Man universe, and we hope it will be for you as well. We go a little bit more over it, talking about the ray tracing, near instant loading, and the DualSense controller implementation into the game. They've upgraded the characters with 4D scans and improved skin shading for more realistic looking characters and spline-based hair that moves far more naturally. Many of the city's assets have also been updated to take advantage of the new console. As you experience Miles' story, you'll see, hear, and feel things in a whole new way, all thanks to PlayStation 5. So I would still expect a game that's decently lengthy. I mean, if you go through Spider-Man, just the base game, and don't delve into a lot of the side content, it's not like it's the longest game in the world. It's actually relatively short, and even doing all the side content doesn't extend the experience that much. The Platinum Trophy wasn't that difficult to get. You just had to do all the collectibles and things of that nature. Comparatively to a lot of other Platinums, it was pretty easy. So I would still expect Miles Morales to be a pretty robust game, and I just think it's very important that they got Spider-Man launch day for the PlayStation 5. That is huge. I mean, those YouTube numbers that the Spider-Man Miles Morales trailer in particular is pulling, that's nuts. It is like considerably higher than the Horizon Forbidden West trailer. It is considerably higher than the Ratchet trailer. So for me, while I'm more excited for Ratchet, while I'm more excited for the Demon's Souls remake, Spider-Man Miles Morales may just be the biggest game at launch and be the biggest system seller. So for them to have that ready at launch, something that I think a lot of people would have found surprising, that's a major get for them. So good on them for doing that. Lastly, I do want to quickly note that the Gothic tactical RPG Otherside will be dropping on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on July 28th, and it will be coming to Switch this summer. Publisher Focus Home Interactive and developer Lightbulb Crew have announced. This is a pretty interesting game. It notes descent into humanity's last hope. The daughters, echoes of the greatest war to ever live, are all who stand before suffering and death. Lead your army of daughters to battle with all the skill you can muster. Your prowess in combat will decide their fate and shape their abilities and personality. Make the toughest decisions and sacrifice one to heal another. Survivors will get stronger, ready to fight for the next battle. It's very dark in presentation. Right away, that compelled me to take interest in the game. Definitely more of a grim and bleak title, but it will be out July 28th. Wanted to make note of that since this is a game that's definitely getting lost in the shuffle a little bit. Comes directly after Ghost of Tsushima, so maybe you guys are going to be busy with that little game. Nevertheless, definitely want to keep an eye on. So that's going to conclude this video. Again, new female Lombax and Rift Apart is playable. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales is gonna be a game relative in size to Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, but a very essential experience in the universe, and Otherside drops July 28th. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.